Hello. Okay. Being the both of you subs, there's no point waiting for ads. You won't get the ads anyway. So, one Apex, and hello again, Stony. That's amusing that you check the redeems. Hi, maybe. Although you're not listening to the stream, so. Oh dear. Okay. I'm all sorts of discombobulated because like the streaming thing is hard. Uh, no worries, Apex. Thank you for the luck. So last week feels like so long ago now. So last week was just a complete mess of problems and all sorts. So um we'll see how that goes. So I didn't get much dev done, but I did get some progress made on Sagas. So I've been trying to figure out how to test the Saga code. And what it's taught me is there's some things I don't really understand about how the startup of the .NET services are occurring. So I have this Saga trigger service, and the idea is that this will, go through and it will check every minute, every 5 minutes, every whatever, and it will try and pull any sagas that are currently scheduled or have not run from the storage, and will then and I want to apologize. My throat is bothering me. If I can't stop coughing, I will end. But the noise cancellation should cut out most of any coughs. But anyway, the the goal would be to pull any sagas that have not executed yet. So sagas can be triggered by events, but sagas can also be timed as well to trigger other things. Harish, hello. How you doing? So what I'm trying to do is run all the sagas that are due to trigger within an X number of minutes, and then uh, sorry, I'm trying to think through what I've just done there. Uh, um, run through all the sagas that are due to trigger, and then basically fire them off, right? So what I've learned is if I have this as a regular piece of code like I would normally do, I would normally not put this in a return task run, right? If I have this in a regular piece of code, it is not testable, because what happens is when when the application fixture starts, when this hits here, this just hangs, it pauses, because that task is not monitoring. If I do it this way, it does run, and this is executing. So it's kind of interesting how that starts up. So I haven't really looked at that before, but it is definitely having an impact. Um, so I'm trying to figure out my logic here, whether it's poor or so. I have interval minutes. So I have two options. All right, that's gonna go away again, I think. Interval minutes, which will be the number of minutes in which we are going to check. And I think actually I should make that interval milliseconds and make that let's make that 5,000. So what I don't like about that is I'm actually changing the I'm changing the actual logic. Phil Samuel, hello, how you doing? To handle my test scenario, which is not ideal. But what I'm trying to do is make sure this code runs. So the idea is that this fixture will start up and it will create a new application builder. It will register the dependency injection stuff, and it will then start the application, right? And apparently that returns. And then afterwards we stop it and we dispose of it. This is apparently the right way to deal with this. From there, when I'm actually building my Saga, I can go and retrieve my factory, my persistence, and this is working. I can create the Saga, I can save the Saga, but the idea would be that I take the cancellation source of the state, right, and then cancel that token. I'm not sure that's the right way to think about this. So what we probably want to do is cancellation token none. Right, we probably want to do it that way. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. I have a congested throat, which is why I'm keep coughing. So if you hear the cough, please let me know. If I cannot correct for it, I will not make people endure listening to my cough or turn people away because I'm coughing. So please just let me know. So let's wait 10 seconds and then we don't need that try catch now. And then by that time, this Saga should have triggered. That's the concept. So I do need to go in and understand why it changes the behavior of the service. So what I'm trying to validate is that'll be November. You're on. Hello. How you doing? Yeah, that'll be after build in November. No, not build. .NET Conf. Yeah, November 11th to the 13th. It'll be that week. They normally align it with that. The coffee's coming. Oh, okay. Well, we might not last very long then. I'm not making people in because it'll just turn people away. We're on .NET 9, so that is quickly ending up on unsupported afterwards. Gotcha, because 10 was 8 LTS. Yeah, I've had this cough for the past 3 days. Interesting that Crisp doesn't remove it though. Good morning, One Lion. Hope you are well. Did you have your journey? Okay, so my saga. So I'm trying not to make this a contrived example. And I'm trying to not make this. So there's two problems I have with this test right this second. Firstly, I'm actually testing the behavior in this nice. Recovering but going through the normal work routine should help. Drive yourself was quite laid back. Nice. Nice. Oh, that's not gonna do anything, is it? Because I just changed the behavior of it. So I said from minutes, intervals. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. Remaining delay. All sagas, current value, interval, milliseconds. Yeah, that's gonna be all sagas. I'm trying not to. I'm actually sorry. I'm suffering from. I know I'm changing my code to adopt the tests, and that's hurting me. But I'm trying to figure out how I effectively test the code without changing for the test. So what I'm trying to do is get far enough along that that I can validate that it's doing what I expect. And then we can go back and verify. But this is not normally what I would want to do because I'm also testing my in-memory saga persistence with this. So technically to really do this, I have to do the trigger test with SQL Server and Mongo as well. So yeah, to be thorough, because the logic exists in the base, but the in-memory is not based off the base because it is a default implementation of persistence. So let's run that again. So there's a lot that feels wrong with this testing right this second. So it should wait 10 seconds and then end. But the idea would be that this saga would get picked up. This would occur because we'd create the saga, we'd save it. And then wait 10 seconds. This system in the back end should be running on default interval milliseconds. We'll do it every second. That's to try and pad out the actual delay so that it actually waits for the remainder. So if you're saying, hey, do it every minute, that's the intent of that is to do that. So we'll try one more run, and then if this doesn't work, I'll try and put some debug in there and see where it's getting. So yeah, it's interesting to me that doing the service the way I would normally do it, which normally functions, which is the confusing part, right? So normally I would not put this in a return task.run, but doing it the other way, where this code is just inside of here, just hangs the process entirely. So that's kind of fascinating that that's the way this works. So I might have to go back and change other services to do something similar. The idea being that the ownership of this execution is something else managing it, so it will await its services, etc. But I've never written them this way. So it's not even getting here. Let's see if it gets here. We're saying 1,000 milliseconds delay, so it should. Yeah. You'll also see a lot of comments in here because there's a lot of behavior that I'm kind of trying to fill in. Okay, so we are getting here. So I never seem to get that. So there is a saga. But minutes before now. Next trigger time. Sagas value last triggered is null. Next trigger time is 11:20:15. So maybe I just need to change that rule a bit there. So where the next trigger time is not null and it's before or after, or it's greater than or after the window. And last trigger is null. Well, there's the problem. This is the issue. I'm either missing the window with the way with the order of which I start these. Dukesoft, hello. How you doing? So, oh dear. So again, the logic in here is not the same as the logic in here, right? So the Sagas to trigger has a spec. Well, it is the same logic because I've copied it, but it's not. Also, we need to change that within MS. Within MS. From seconds. I mean, it doesn't really hurt me to have milliseconds. It just, yeah, a little bit more confusing. Good. So, stream schedule update, by the way. This week is my last week of PT. Tuesday and Thursday, no stream. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams. Next week, unless something's happening next week, there'll be a full week of streams. Yeah. And then The following week there'll be a full week of streams. Then the week after that there'll be no streams at all. Well, there will be a Monday stream, possibly a Friday stream. We'll see. So we got a couple of weeks of good effort. Yeah. But yeah, last week of PT, this week. So we know it's retrieving the saga. We know the saga's being saved. We know that the trigger isn't happening because it's not hitting the window. So do I change this to deal with, like, if I do that, right? Let's just validate that the test runs. Well, you didn't have to, but, well, for no one else but yourself, once you'd started that quest, you did. And hello, daughter. So we know it, if it gets the right saga, it will trigger it. Hey, Frank. How you doing? It entertained. Yeah, that's what I mean. You had to, because once you'd started the effort, your brain... I get it. So, do we... again, I apologize if the cough upsets people. Please let me know. I'm trying to cough away from the screen, from the mic. But we either deal with the cough or shut the stream down. So anyway, so if the next trigger time has elapsed, I think I need to just refine this. Shower for Stony. Stony is slow. Stony lost at Gran Turismo until we went into go-karts, and then Stony won in Gran Turismo. We did that on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. We may do that again this Saturday. Well, we will race. We may stream. It's not. Yeah. So it was a good time. But Stony also streams. If you haven't been into Stony's stream, I highly recommend it. Recently, he's been working on bot stuff, so he's doing overlays and trying to create a framework for building overlays for your bot. And has been working on TTS because, you know, streaming racing games is interesting, but if you have to read chat, it gets difficult. You weren't following Stony. Ouch. And one line's keeping me busy, it seems. Yeah, if you haven't followed Frank yet, well, really? Frank streams on Fridays mainly, and hopefully that will continue. Congratulations on the new role. Yeah, Frank is a cloud expert and streams development of recently a 2D6 game, which is in Blazor. I highly recommend it. I don't know. How long have you been following me? You've been following me since June 2019. My goodness me. I just clicked on your card. Six years. Be far away in a kayak expedition. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I envy that. April 14th of the same year. So yeah, you've been following Frank longer than me. Nice. That's cool. 6 years. Your old name was Link. Oh, you renamed yourself to Dota. What was your original name? Link. It was something similar, like Dota 2 Attitude, right? Link Slumps. I thought it was something. Okay. Yeah. 6 years. How time flies. Okay. So clearly my logic is incorrect here because I'm not picking up this saga. So I'm inserting the saga, but I'm missing the time window. So I'm overlapping, and that's probably not good. I needed to play catch up. And that's a realistic scenario where I could insert a saga on the on the edge of a trigger check, and then it doesn't trigger because now its data is set incorrectly. So if the next trigger time is not equal to null, and the next trigger time is that, or e dot last triggered equals null, and e dot next trigger time is before now, that would pick that out. Oh, that's what I'm trying to say there, isn't it? Um, these sorts of statements, it takes me a while before I can actually get them like straight in my head sometimes. And it irritates me every time because they seem very simplistic, but sometimes I just can't figure out the logic. So I apologize for the pause here. So if there is a trigger time and the trigger time is within the window and it has been triggered and last triggered is before that window, yeah, I mean, I want to. So, again, like I said, the thing I don't like about this is right now I'm testing this in memory saga persistence with this specification. Actually, hold on. Let's do this right. But it's a specification. This is DB context, and my design is kicking me in the butt here. So this specification. We'll see if I can manage this. This specification is a Ardalis specification, which is tied to DB context. But it might work against. I don't think specification implicitly has a DB context definition. Thank you. I did not realize I had a hydrate command. Oh, you did highlight my message. I didn't have. I didn't have. Oh, that's a dangerous one. You just use it constantly to hydrate. Um, I cooked one from scratch. Yeah. So I did learn today that Stony checks the redeems on entering the stream. Always expecting me to put a first in eventually because I keep calling it out. Do a backflip. No one needs to see that, Duca. No one needs to see that. That will just be a whole lot of crunching and pain and crying. And I'll be wailing as well. What I was thinking to do here is if I move this specification out to here, right? I can't do it. I have to be on my toes with you. You don't leave me an opportunity to mess with me laying around. Oh dear. So what I'm trying to figure out is I have a rule that I'm copying and pasting essentially. So it's highly, there's a high fragility there. But I kind of prefer this rule here as a spec because it means that my persistence base, right, can just use a spec. So hold on. This isn't an Ardalis specification, is it? Damn it. It's my specification. But I can't move Saga. It would be wrong. So there's a Saga as the actual entity that is in the Sagas library, right? So the concept of the Saga. This is a persistence model, not a behavior. So it makes sense in persistence. Stop red squiggling. It's squiggled, but because it's confused on what I did before and moved things around. Okay, no adjustments for that, so. So it's clearly this rule. Like, because if I remove it, the test passes. Hey, maybe. We're just spamming me some emotes. What is that one? Danger dance. Yeah, ain't it? Not follow, maybe. Another one. Great streamer. Just came here to bully you. Afternoon, Miss Jones. How you doing? Not bad. Not bad. So, if the next trigger time You know what? Let's do this the way I would normally do it. If next trigger time is not equal to null, and last triggered equals null, and next trigger time before less than ms before now, or next trigger time not equal to null, and last triggered not equal to null, and next trigger time greater than or equal to ms before now. What I'm trying to do is write out the way I'm thinking about it, and then we can condense it as a rule set. So there may be duplication, but I can't see the duplication because I can't visualize the actual behavior here. So if it's and next trigger time less than or equal to now, that's quite the flash. I don't know why that's flashing. That's quite the achievement. Let's write that out and see where we get. So again, the big issue I'm going to have here is the fact that I'm duplicating this logic. So if I test it here with this integration test, that's great, but I'm not going to validate the same rules unless I do the trigger test in the SQL Server and MongoDB versions. And basically copy this test into that. So it's a little frustrating, but it's fine. So let's go with e.next trigger time not equal to null, and e.last triggered equal to null, and next trigger time e.next trigger time ms before now. So it's before our window, or e.next trigger time greater than or equal to ms before now. So we have a time. Oh, what does it want to condense here? Let's see. Merge into pattern. Oh. I'm not sure I like that any better. That is an interesting way of doing it. I don't know if that'll convert to SQL. So when we copy it over, that's going to be an interesting test. I assume it will do. Because I assume it works out the same underneath in terms of the code. So if the next trigger time is not null, but we haven't triggered it previously, and the next trigger time is less than our window, or the last triggered is not null, and the next trigger time is greater than the window, but less than or equal to now. So it's like right on the cusp. No, the last triggered is less than or equal to now, right? Okay. No, hold on. I messed before. So it's triggered before our window. Oh, let's see what happens. Expect failure, but I'll take success. 10 seconds. Got a feeling we had some combinations there. Well, let's see. Let's run that as a debug. Okay. So MS before now, 11:46:04. Now is 11:46:09, so we had a 5-second window. Our we have no sagas. We have a saga. So we have 11:46:28, 11:46:33. So it's at, you know, that 5-second window. There's our value. Our trigger is, next trigger time is 37. So 49, 40, 54. So there is no last trigger. There is a next trigger time. And that is, so this one should fire. Right? Because there is a next trigger time. There is no last triggered. And the next trigger time is before now. So this should hit. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why? That actually worked. That was correct. We went past the time window and we hadn't triggered it previously, so it triggers. That's the idea. Again, if we run this every hour and something was set like to be run 20 minutes ago, we want to run it and catch up. If there was specific time logic involved, then I would put that in the saga. Hi, Manets. How you doing? Welcome in. So yeah. There's that, and then we want to put in. Oh, this never happens. That's a different problem. Has trigger. That's a whole different problem. No, see, I think we might have to extend something here. So that's 10 seconds. And we have our Saga triggering on 5 seconds, right? So our trigger time is 5 seconds. So this number hits, but it hit when we debugged, which suggests that we're slowing things down enough. Let's extend that to 20 seconds and see if it's just a window thing, in which case we'll do better. To be clear, I've never tried. I'll come back. Lost internet for a bit there. Oh no, that's not good. I have never tried integration testing a service before, so this is quite an interesting journey for me, right? Okay, so that should hit. Why didn't that hit in the trigger? Oh, there we go. Well, that's interesting. What? Do I have an asynchronicity problem now? This hit first. That shouldn't hit first. That should hit first. So that was actually 2 threads then. Oh god, that's mind-boggling. So initially what I did is initially what I tried was to put the cancellation token in the state so that it would control when this finished. So once we triggered, it would say cancel, and then this delay, we could basically wait on that cancellation token here, or 20 seconds, whichever came first. So what's happening is this is hitting here after 20 seconds. Let's try this a different way. Let's try and write this again. So again, I've never tried integration testing with a service, so this is quite a new path for me. I like the idea. I like the way that this would allow me to validate a lot of behavior. So it might be that I'm just kind of developing the framework for this, but it is tricky, and right now I'm not sure of when I'm making changes to support the tests, and that's a worry for me. So let's do this. Let's create a public cancellation token source equals new. And then what we'll do is we'll do that. And then we will go in here and we'll have fixture.cancellation token source Token. Um, X Unit 3. Again, I feel like I'm confusing things with I apologize. So this saga has a cancellation token source. I save the saga. It's not, the state is not the same thing. So it kind of was working, but was working differently. I'm trying to figure out. I don't think that actually helps me in any way. Having the controlled token does not give me any benefits. It might as well be none. So the idea would be create the saga, save it, right? Then wait 20 seconds. The service should be running and checking for the saga. And then we should hit here. But I don't want that to happen unless the sagas run, the triggers run once. So like if I put 30 seconds here, I'm just going to wait 30 seconds and, you know, hope that things work. And that's not. But they're clearly running in different threads because I hit the breakpoint of the trigger once I hit here. So unless this is locking or blocking something and then that opens it up. There's our trigger. Oh. Oh, why you oh, because you're going to trigger multiple times. And then step over. Updated saga has been triggered as true. But is that just, if I run that again, does that sit? Like, is it a timing thing? But the service should run on it every 5 seconds. 10, 20, whatever seconds should be fine here. So why wasn't 20 seconds succeeding, but 30 seconds it is? How's it going? I packed the wrong computer for work. Oh well, just have to play video games all day. How are you, Mr. Anhorn? So that works at 30 seconds, but I don't like the idea. Nice. I figured you meant Steam, yeah. Um, hmm. So the trigger service is doing what it should. It is looping through, and I'm leaving these comments in, right? So every X minutes, whatever, we should check to see if we need to do anything with saga exploration. You have to check because the process to check the sagas and the process in certain sagas is not connected. You know, ideally, what I'd do is I'd push in here and say, oh, just wait until the next one. That would be my ideal way. I'd just lay dormant and then trigger it. Scale out. If I expand the number of services, this doesn't scale, so each instance of the service will be running, so I'll have to figure that out later. Oh, the sunlight again. Sunlight. So yeah, that would be the ideal thing, is kind of sit dormant, and then when a saga is inserted, assess whether the next trigger time needs to be used. That would be the ideal way. So this is just a timing issue. In reality, that wouldn't be a problem. I just don't like that idea. I'd like to be able to say this could be like once it's triggered, uh, continue, but actually, was that working? We go to sample state and we create public cancellation token source, and we do that might actually have been working. So if we do and go into the saga now, state dot cancel. If we run that again, does this now work? Or does it take 30 seconds anyway? When's saga? I don't think you can do that. So that's because the cancellation token being cancelled is catch task cancelled exception. We'd swallow that exception because we don't care. But it's still timing based, that's the problem. So whether this runs and takes, 14 and a half seconds or 30 seconds is still going to take her time. 14 seconds. That was a guess, by the way. So it is doing what I want it to do because that's a 30-second delay. So if it doesn't happen in 30 seconds, then this would show a failure. So that kind of takes the timing a little bit out of it. So it's janky. It's janky from the perspective of I'm testing the in-memory saga persistence there. I would have to test these as actual extra fixtures, and I'm not sure I really want to be messing around with that right this second. So I'm testing in-memory saga persistence as the rule. What we're going to do right this second, though, is we're going to take this and we're going to put that into that specification so that it's the same. Right. Because this is an expression tree. Okay. Okay, so just rewrite it again. So e dot next trigger time equal to null, and e dot last triggered equals null, and e dot next trigger time is or e dot next trigger time not equal to null, and e dot last triggered not equal to null, and e dot next trigger time is greater than or equal to ms before now, and e dot next trigger time is less than or equal to now, and e dot last triggered, and then we have bar now equals date time. Let's see. We're actually doing that accurately. We should be doing that so that we don't reassess UTC now, because there could be a window, right? So again, consistency. So I don't like that I'm not testing the same code, right? So to use this in the actual persistence, I'm using a different rule, but I can't use that rule here in this particular test. No, not publish. Run unit tests. $15. Yep. Okay. Do your worst, chat. Add application fixture and Saga configuration for integration testing for triggers. So I think Sagas are pretty much there. So I might need to write some extra tests afterwards. So if you've not been watching what I'm doing with the Saga stuff, again, I'm trying to coordinate events from different pieces of the system, and I need to handle notifications. Sorry, my brain's worrying on what I'm missing. Last week, I got into the position of I needed to have, I had the persistence working, but then realized I needed to introduce this Saga factory so that I could use DI. So I can go and get the Saga via DI and then apply its state to it as part of the process. What that meant is the Saga persistence base now needs to do this build Saga from model, which is going to reapply this stuff as well. So this is clearly working because the triggers are actually validating this behavior because these values are being set every time. And then we go and apply the state back. When we actually create the Saga, fetch Saga by orchestration identifier, this can return null so that if it doesn't have the Saga, it's fine. Can't we just do... No, you can't do that. That's my brain was going to coalesce that then. So we go and try and get the Saga, and if we can't, then we build one if we from that model. So yeah, this will allow us to save the current state of the Saga, delete the Saga specified, orchestration ID is unique, we'll retrieve all current incomplete Sagas, due to execute within X seconds. Right. So again, it will retrieve all the sagas that are due to trigger, and that's working. Yeah. Um, Again, if you are new to the stream, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions, you're more than welcome to join in. Um, this is part of my larger project. However, docs readme. Okay. Mediate pattern is great way to decouple your application in developing on to trigger an event when several events had occurred, and rather than try and wedge this into some sort of super handler, installation, usage. So these extra pieces that I do around Liquid Sky as a project, they are intended to be open source. So if you want to go and play with these, if you want to go and see why the heck I'm doing these things, then you're more than welcome to do that. Usage in application. Hey Valorant, I just completed my project. It was a minimal backend framework using C. It took me 124 hours just to code. Nice. 40 hours to research and plan. Nice. What does the backend framework achieve? Or what? That sounds really snotty. I didn't mean it as that. What does the backend framework uh, do? Var host equals host dot create application builder. Is it that? I should know that by now. Test integration trigger fixtures. Create application builder. Okay, it is. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Anhorn. Has been getting back into streaming, working on a really fascinating platform for doing like VTuber stuff and scene management overall of the stream. I don't even know how to better describe that. It looks really cool. Yeah. What am I building? So thank you, Wallline. Yeah, so this is an extension piece for Liquid Sky. It's a library for Sagas, so that I can use Sagas within Mediator, and then I can coordinate different notifications to create extra behavior to the application. So what I've been working on is the ability to time them, so I can actually schedule things to constantly check. So if someone wants to create a saga for they want to do a notification weekly or monthly or whatever, I could set up a saga to do that, to achieve a monthly time scale, and then initiate that. And basically it will persist itself to the database, and then a service will constantly run and check to see if things need to be run. Yeah. So host dot add sagas, and then that would do And then we need first define a saga. So yeah, this is the saga library for me right now, but it is open source. Anyone's more than welcome to go and check it out. Let's do public class sample saga, iSaga. I'm not going to go too deep on the documentation here, primarily because I need to use this and I do not need to spend the next hour writing. It would be nice to get to the actual point of development. Public int value, right? And then this is a saga of sample saga state. And then this is I am started by. So what you do is you define this class in your code, or these two classes in your code. So you define a state, which will help you carry any data back and forth between executions of the saga, and then you define what notifications will actually trigger this saga. So I am started by, it will register a handler for started by, which will then, and it will do one per saga. It will create a handler for every saga, but it'll create a started by handler for this saga, which will then, when that notification happens in Mediator, that will get fired in your code, and it will call the handle method on here. The reason I did it that way is because CodeGen means that I can kind of abstract that behavior, so I can still create Mediator handlers that will then call this thing. So what we need is a public class sample notification, which is an I notification, which is a mediator thing, and an I orchestrated notification, which will give us a public period orchestration identifier, right? This will put that property on there. You know, this could be public GUID sample identifier. Right, whatever triggered this notification. And then this will be sample notification. And then you can do I handle sample notification as well. So the first time this fires, this will create the saga. This will get ignored because the saga doesn't exist in theory. There is a potential that it could, you know, have that. So this might not be a scenario you care about, but if you wanted to receive the same notification over and over and over again, then you want to be started by that and then coordinate for that sample notification. So it is real. So then you would have public void handle sample notification event. So I'm going to have to deal with the idempotency of this because you could actually get the handle. Well, if the handle fired and the saga didn't exist, it would just not do anything. If the started by fires first and then the handle gets notified like separately, then the notification is going to happen. So you are going to have some timing potentially there, but I believe Mediator kind of asynchronously pushes all those notifications, so it probably will be okay. Notice this is not asynchronous yet. That might actually have to come later. We might have to deal with some async code. But for now, that might go in task.run. As always, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, you're more than welcome. Okay, so we have that, then configured Sagas in your application. Also available. SQL and MongoDB. Assistance. Installation. Include NuGet or pbd develop .mediator.sagas. Optionally include develop.mediator.sagas.mongodb and tbd. Sorry. Okay. That's that. Save that. I'll do. That'll do. Okay, so next step is to add existing folder, GitHub, workflows. Okay, so this one was problematic. If I look at Liquid Sky, probably, GitHub, workflows. So I need to do something similar. Actually, not Liquid Sky. I want Kafka extensions. I need a yeah. That's the closest, I think. GitHub, workflows. Here we go. There we go. That's why. Okay. I need something similar to this. So Loki. In Mediator Saga. So right now what happens is I pack everything, and what happens is I actually try to push all the images of everything, and that's not healthy. Pack nougats. So I don't want to do it that way, right? So I need to do something similar to this. So pack sagas. So tbd develop dot mediator Sagas. Pack. SQL Server Persistence. Loki's apparently losing his mind or something. Mediator.SQL sagas .sagas.SQL server, and then we can remove the rest. Copy that. MongoDB. Pack nuggets. So we don't need that one anymore, right? We need that one gone. So we should be able to run these commands locally, and they work. The file was not found on disk. So hold on. Properties. There might be a setting I have to use here. Abstractions, properties. That's not that, is it? Edit. Generate package on build. Oh no, I did it. That's fine. That's fine. I just rated the wrong person. TDB Gamer. Wow. All good, maybe. Welcome in. Not to hello. Welcome back. It's amazing that I don't know. All good. I don't understand. Like, there's a lot of people that actually, when they see my name, they say TDB. Took Wayne a long, Rambling Geek a long time to get that as well. Sorry. All good. How did you do? How did the stream end up? But a lot of people do it. They transpose the B and the D. Tis all good. I don't know why. It is weird, isn't it? RG can't get anyone's name right. Okay, so why does that fail? TB develop. That is the right directory. Properties, class library, mediator.sagas. It is a bit weird that it lets you do that. What to be packed was not found on disk. Open in Explorer. Anyone just sat looking at a stream like, what? Oh, I know why. 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 See this? Let's do this first. You need to do a build first. Now I bet this one will work. There you go. All good. It happens. We get the raid problems. Okay, so that works. Let's do the others. Let's make sure the commands. What I'm trying to do is right now I'm trying to figure out the packaging, make sure that it actually works properly, because then I'm going to push it, and that should create me my NuGet packages. These should publish because they're under the tbdeveloper.mediator.star label, and then there we go. Okay. So let's do that. Update GitHub Actions workflow to include packing for Sagas and SQL. Okay, getting better. Getting better. Push. Okay, so let's go over to compare and pull request into main. Create a pull request. Hello, Loki Dog. How you doing, buddy? Ooh, 50 files. Yeah? Okay, 1 second. I'll be right there. Okay, we change that, we change that, change that. I'll be right back. Apparently a dog needs to go out. Oh, I need a stream deck again. Okay, I'm back. If Loki barks, there's only 2 reasons. He wants to play, or he needs a bathroom. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Let's get this merged. So if Loki barks, like comes in here and barks at me, he needs a bathroom, more than likely. So I don't ignore it. Taylor will come and scratch at my arm because she wants to go outside and play. But yeah, if Loki comes and does that, like if he jumps up, it's because he just wants to have a hug. If he comes in and barks at me and then runs to the door, he's good at telling me that. Stoney is looking at a tab like, why does it say TDB Gamer? Okay. So that should kick off an action. He said, oh no, do I have to create a release? Yes, I have to create a release. Draft a new release, select a tag, 0.0.7. update Sagas now with functionality. What's changed? Well, a lot of stuff. Introduced MongoDB persistence. Triggered Sagas. DI on Sagas. So one of the things that I needed to achieve was the ability for my Sagas to actually have dependency injection. Otherwise, they were going to be useless. So again, we went through all that effort of getting it applied, but now I can actually do DI on the Saga so that when the Saga is retrieved, I have DI. So I can do extra things in these Sagas. I can insert persistence, repositories and stuff, so I can access data and do all those sorts of things in here. And the Saga's a bit more usable now. DI on Sagas. Schedule with service monitoring. The service is implicit. Let's publish that. That should kick off the action. Yeah. And then we start to get towards being able to do, and this is this still done? This is done at night. No. my brain's not working. Yeah, I moved everything to .NET 9 as well, so it wasn't .NET 8 because I actually originally wrote this library in 2023. Sorry. Okay, so we're waiting for that. Actions. Oh, why did you fail? What idiot runs unit tests as part of... Did I really fail at doing unit tests? So I test two things, or I test two different types of things. So I have integration tests set up, so it validates that MongoDB I can persist and retrieve a Saga, SQL Server I can persist and retrieve a Saga, and then the trigger integration test validates that the service will run and call and invoke the trigger. Imagine having unit tests. Ah. Imagine being amateur enough that I didn't run the unit test before I actually pushed the changes. The model has been had a new migration before. I never do unit tests. Welcome in, Daniel TV. It's absolute unit. Test all things. Units doubt doubly so. Hi, Melmoth. Good morning. Um, you know, if you are comfortable not doing unit tests, then that is personally, I do not care. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't find any value in it, don't do it. Just be confident your code works. If you're working in a team and that team uses unit tests, write unit tests. Work with what you're asked to work with. I've found too many developers that are like, oh, I don't want to do that, and they'll do the bare minimum. And I think it's not helpful for the rest of the team if you won't toe the line there. But JetBrains IDs look so enterprise. I like my JetBrains IDs. Okay. Value is null. Persist. Retrieve. How did that fail? What? How did that actually fail? No service type. One might call this a raid. High crit price. How you doing? Welcome in. I appreciate you clicking on maybe's Discord link. No service for type sample Saga. So in that instance, we need to add. Oh yeah. Services.add scoped. That's quite interesting. So we save a saga, we handle an event, we persist that saga, and then we retrieve it and validate that we got the same value back. So this one now works, but this one fails, but it does exactly the same thing. Ah, it doesn't do the same thing though, does it? Because we need to do it the right way. We need a little bit more going on. Our arrange needs to be a little bit more involved than just that. So let's remove that. Persistence. Bongo penguin. Thank you for the follow, Daniel. So, for those new to the stream, normally I'm working on my project management platform. I need to be clear about that. Like, I'm not trying to rewrite Jira. This is a Saga library I'm building to help support that. So this is an open source project intended to help me build out some of the features I need to support some of the more complicated workflows inside of Liquid Sky. Object reference. Saga is complete and publishes notifications. So this behavior now might be actually wrong. Persistence. Mediator. So we call handle on the subject, which is the handler. So these are the code gen files, right? So these will actually be generated based upon me building the sagas out normally. So in this instance, I've written the sagas, and I'm now testing that if I grab the actual individual handler for the saga, it will do what I need to do. All right, I gotta go nap for a bit. I just wanted to stop by and get a haircut for my unit testing. No worries, Melanie. Take care. Rest well. um, so what is null in this instance is the question. Object reference. Line 36. Okay, so if we go here, so this is which saga is this? This is the publishing saga sample. So publishing saga is started by sample notification. So the idea would be when saga is complete and publishes notification. Publishing saga sample notification handler. Sample notification. That test is wrong. Talking about unit tests, the agent did not like where I put my tests and told me to move them. Oh, no, last time I tried to help. You mean it? Why did they try to move them to? It didn't like where you put them. We have a pattern in the repo and I did not follow it to the letter. Ah, okay. Ouch. When Saga is complete and publishes notifications. So when Saga is complete and does not publish, does this one run? Yes, that one runs. When Saga is started by message and Saga does not exist. Okay, so let's focus on this one first because I think that other test is actually broken. You type out the folder. It called it out though. That's cool. So in this instance, we're gonna get when we save the saga, get that. Then we create a new saga started saga sample notification handler. What we want to test is the saga is created. So we should have received save on the persistence. Okay. And we have a state, and that state matches our identification. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't have my arrange act stuff over here, do I? I just call arrange act in the constructor. Yeah. Guacamole, good morning. How you doing? Okay, let's try and debug Sagas create. Let's see which piece is actually null. Which object reference we're talking about. I think we're talking about the persistence. I don't think we're getting the right thing. Oh, the Saga is null. Interesting. Oh, hold on. Factory. Yeah, I might want to. I might want to fix that. Factory dot when x goes to x dot create saga. Oh no. How do I do a generic? Can I do? Oh, how do I do this? Looks like I forgot that streamer mode disabled Discord notifications. Main box is blown up. If I don't turn on streamer mode, if I hear a ping or a pop, I cannot ignore it. So I rely upon streamer mode. I'm so glad that for whatever reason I managed to align OBS and Discord again, because that was driving me crazy. I can't do this though. So subject system under test. That is the actual thing we're testing. Result. Although it wants to make that a primary constructor. Oh no, non-nullable fields. Yeah, that's fine. So I can't do that. Maybe I can. Yeah, actually, yeah, I can. Started saga. S goes to S dot. Is there any arguments in that? Arg dot is orchestration identifier. Arg dot any object. Do. No. Oh, what am I doing? When I call create saga, it's going to return a new started saga. Every office should have this. We built an auto. If your office looks like that, you are actual animals and deserve to go to jail. That is, yeah, hold on. You did derail. So I'm not getting any use into this. Our studio is. There's always garbage on the tables. Like, I'm not the tidiest of people. I don't think they're joking. No. I'm no. That's ridiculous. Actually ridiculous. Okay, it's comedy though. Their office does look messy. Oh dear. Oh dear. That is, I swear we are, but yeah, they weren't that messy. Oh, keep watching. So they've so we've got swarm garbage cans. I mean, it's like an ultimate Roomba, isn't it? If you have a Roomba moving around on with a garbage can on top of it. That's that's that is different. That is certainly different. You need to include quirky robot. Okay. Okay, so there's okay, it's built around doing that stuff. Okay. I mean, janitorial services might not enjoy the replacement of their jobs, but yeah. So garbage bins have the same working hours as us now. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's crazy. Okay. Technology is too powerful. So returns var saga equals new started saga saga.apply state orchestration identifier null return saga. So the problem with this one is we actually need the factory to be able to return a saga so that it gets the right object. Where's something but there we go. So it might be the same thing as the other thing on this one, in that we have no factory configured. Yeah, it's the same thing. We need to configure. Need to configure the factory. Arrange factory. What saga am I doing here? Publishing saga? Yeah. Arg is orchestration identifier. Read only. Subject. So this was just test configuration that's the problem. The delegate type could not be inferred. Oh, because there. Let's see. Run unit tests. Canny, hello. How you doing? There we go. We have passing tests. So let's run everything. We'll try and upload this, and then we will summarize. Gotta make sure all the tests pass now. So with this at least running, what I'm going to do next is going to get this all committed, and then the goal would be to start trying to implement the actual sagas in the communications library, so that when we receive a notification, now again, it's going to come down to figuring out the actual events that are going to occur within the communications piece. So there's still some questions. This library might need tweaking, but we have full passing unit tests. I merged that branch as well. CAC. I guess we push it back and merge it again. Let's do this. Now the Saga system is sample Saga integration and refactor test cases for improvement. Missed some test configuration. Commit and push. So we're going to push that branch once more and merge it again. That's going to be an interesting one. So we just deleted that branch on the remote. Pull requests, new pull request. Create pull request. Correct. Unit tests. Missed some. Configuration. So there was no actual code changes. The tests were the things that were not configured correctly. Most of them were because I changed the code to deal with dependency injection stuff, and I hadn't actually changed my unit test. So that was just poor on my part. I think what I really need to do is I need to let's delete this one. I need to code tags, view all tags. We have to delete that tag, otherwise it'll take what that code was. Need to retag the code. I need to get into a better habit of having unit tests and stuff run in the background before I push. So maybe that's something that's just a behavioral thing on my side. Sagas now with functionality. support persistence on Mongo, DB, and SQL. Introduced triggered timed triggers. Time triggers will give us the ability to do a lot more. And I need to, oh damn, it's 9:05. Introduce time triggers and provide the AI capability for Sagas. Publish release. So we'll publish this, see that that's off to a start, and then we'll move on. Yeah, Canny streams Thursdays and Fridays primarily right now. Always chaos, always crazy ideas. Right now he's been working on a pachinko machine for the stream, so a lot of stream overlay stuff. He developed Twitcher, which is a Godot integration for Twitch, so you can actually integrate with all the Twitch events and stuff in Godot, so you can build interactive features. Highly recommend checking out Canny stream. It's definitely got mad scientist vibes going on. So yeah, highly recommended. Okay. So I think let's see that. Is that working? Oh, come on. Where did it fail? Pushing Mediator.Sagas. Conflict. Oh. Did it really push him before? Well, we'll never know, because it'll take hours for that to filter through. So this works out perfect anyway. Okay, so anyway, Sagas are pretty much functional for now. We now get to test them for real with the actual Liquid Sky code, but that will not be today. Again, this week is my last week of PT, so I will not have no Tuesday stream, no Thursday stream this week. I will be back on Wednesday. I don't have any work stuff this week, so I will be back on Wednesday for Liquid Sky. We will be implementing these sagas in there and trying to get that communications piece working. Yeah, but next week I don't think there's anything stopping me from having all 5 days, so yeah, that's good. So yeah, let's go and raid Fullbots. We've not raided Fullbots in a while. Fullbots is a game dev, works in Godot, and is I don't know what he's doing recently because I've been hanging out, but yeah, settings menu and tutorialization. What? That's his title. So thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. I will be back on Wednesday. If you have any questions, thoughts, opinions that you want to share off stream, there is a Discord channel linked in the cards below. You're more than welcome to join. If you want to discuss any of the stuff I've done or any of the stuff you've done, we can always discuss in Discord. So thank you very much. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Bye all.